Hello. Oh gosh, we're live. That took a while to set up. Hello. And happy new year to everybody. Gosh. So 10 minutes late or 8 minutes late. Hello to all that might have joined me. Hello. Can everybody hear me? No, you didn't miss it, Terry. You're here. I just didn't press the right buttons and YouTube wouldn't let me join my own live stream. There we go. So anyway, happy new year to you all. We're here and we're going to do some live one card readings. So just to give a little bit of time for different people to come and join us for this one card readings, we're going to just breathe and take a few deep breaths. And if you'd like to just breathe with me for a few minutes, we can just get into the right frame of mind, because I've been trying to connect to YouTube, so slightly frustrated. Let's just change the mood a little bit. Take deep breaths with me, please. So we call for the consciousness of the four elements, the four suits. We call for higher guidance to come through for everybody who wants to join me today in this first day of the year reading opportunity, where we tap in for some general guidance for our lives for this whole year. And the intention is for this whole year, but in essence, this reading is going to last as long as you remember it, and that depends upon the importance you give it and the amount of energy you put into thinking about it and what this might be to you. So we're going to do one person at a time, and I'm going to pick some names that are here on the chat with me. So if you want to, if you're watching this live stream and you want to just jump on the chat and share your name, I can't see you otherwise, but as soon as you do, I will draw a card for you, or at least you'll be part of this journey. And yeah, that's the way we're going to do it. So we've got a few people with us already, so I'm going to start. And one by one, I'd like you to concentrate with me, to focus with me, and we'll bring our intention and our attention into being receptive to hear, to call in the best message and the most important thing that you need to hear right now in your lives for what's going on with you personally. Okay, so we'll start with you, Patricia Matthews, since you're the first on the list, and we'll go. Take a deep breath with me. Okay. Okay. This is an interesting card. So Patricia, you get, so anytime there's a major card going to come up in this reading, then there's an even more deeper message for you. Because we're going to do lots of different people, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time speaking about each card, but I'd love you to look up the cards and their meanings on my channel, or whoever else's channel you'd like to look up, as well as listening to this very specific message, which will be in the moment. And it's a little bit like a channeled focus about what's going to come through. This is for you, Patricia. The Chariot reversed, which speaks about the need to question why things may be not moving always in the most smooth and balanced way towards the goals that you want, towards the life that you're looking for. And if you find that there's sometimes a little bit of a repetitive nature to your life's experience, question two things. One of these things that is important to question is, how do I react and act? But reactions are important. How do I act and react towards not feeling great in my life, not feeling high, not feeling positive? What is my go-to reaction when things don't go my way, when I bump into conflict, when I find that resistance is coming up both inside of me and maybe outside of me as well, when the challenges seem shadow nature? What is my go-to reaction? And when you find these reaction or this reactive nature, the practice then becomes about how can I change this reaction? Because usually one of the ways that we react to negative things coming along in our lives is having an automatic response that might be run away, look the other direction, forget about it, try and make things all positive, cover things up. We might ignore things completely and pretend that everything's okay. We may fear what there is to face and project it out there into the world and find it difficult to claim responsibility for what we might be creating in our lives. And so we end up repeating cycles and going around in circles. And this is the ability to embrace both the light and the dark, which are two driving forces in our life, which bring us into forward motion. Otherwise, we do end up going around in circles. So if this is the case with you, then maybe ask yourself, what are my reactions to this, to any negativity coming up in my life, any more darker experiences that might pop into my life at any one time, and how can I reframe that reaction so that I can take that as a lesson, take that as an opportunity to learn something, and an opportunity to see more of myself, an opportunity to open myself up more. This is your message. Hopefully it resonates in one way. I'd love to hear if it does resonate. Terry, you're next on the line. Take a few deep breaths with me if you can. And we ask for guidance for you. Ace of Wands comes up. So a very strong card. This is a card which represents the unity in the suit of fire. So this is the hand of God giving an opportunity. This is an opportunity which is something, Terry, that would be incredibly transformational in nature. It's going to be an opportunity which you might see manifesting this year on different levels. And on these different levels, what I mean by these different levels is there can be different ways the wand manifests in our lives. One way is an inner way, where we feel more connected to our hearts, when we feel more focused on our purpose, on our direction in life, on what's important for us. Also on an inner level, this card or this opportunity will stir up our excitement, stir up our passion, and stir up our sexuality. Consequently, you'll see a rise in this energy, hopefully, and the opportunities which come along to stimulate the way you passionately create something in this world. Grab them with both hands. See it as a gift, no matter what it is. See it as a gift, and especially when it resonates with your heart. This card comes up when we're ready to listen to our hearts a little bit more, and in order to do that, we might need to really be open-hearted in a very innocent way. We might need to find that connection to the inner child inside, and just feel a little bit free as far as our creative energy and the expression of it is concerned, and watch out for any resistance that our adult mature mind might have in order to express and share that freedom with other people. On an outer level, this is a card which is going to be manifest in opportunities which may well be aligned with what we will feel is our purpose and mission in life. And so we might be asked to take a few steps, or take many steps, or make decisions that direct us directly towards what is our higher goal, or what is the goal of our soul and spirit in this incarnation, at least. I hope that relates well. Sorry, Dolores, is that Dolores? Sorry, I need my glasses on if I'm going to read all this small print. Dolores, would you like to breathe with me for a moment or two? I'll ask for guidance for Dolores. Okay, so this card came up, Dolores. It flew out of the deck just now. I just asked if it was going to be the right way up or not, or upside down. It didn't want to tell you anything about which way this card comes up. So when that's the case, it's about looking into the general and the very open energy of this Six of Wands, and there's several things that I think will be really interesting for you to understand about this card. The 6 is a number which relates to the heart. The wands relate to the heart quite a lot. This is a very heart-orientated message, and it's a heart-orientated message which asks you to be willing to connect with yourself and with life around you in very specific ways. These specific ways are where we can feel so let me frame this in a different way. This card is about a certain celebration of having attained some type of achievement. And the real achievement that this card speaks about is the achievement of connecting with our heart center, where we aren't afraid to let go and lose something, because we know that our heart will always keep us on the right path. We're always going to stay connected. We can lose superficial things. We can lose relationships. We can lose objects in our life. We can lose work. We can lose opportunities, and we can gain many amazing experiences and we can gain wonderful friendships and wonderful partnerships. We can gain money and possessions and all these things, but the centeredness in our heart, and what is really the victory of this card, is when we're so centered in our heart that neither these external successes that we might that our society and the people around us might deem as a success, or the failures which come into our life, which society also equally sees as a failure, they won't take you out of your center. That is the real success that this card talks about. And when we talk about staying centered, it's about really not falling victim to the lower ways of thinking that pull us out straight away. Oh, that happened. Oh, that's the worst thing in the world. Maybe it's not. Oh, this happened to you. That's so great. It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. But you can still stay centered. You don't have to get carried away with it. And so the success isn't something that we need to get crazy about. And this might be a good thing to keep in mind for this year. It seems like we're mellowing the ups and downs, or we're finding the middle path when things want to get overexcited or under depressed, as the case may be sometimes in our lives. And we might think that, okay, then we're just watering down our emotions, but it's not necessarily a watering down. You can feel everything. Just don't allow the feelings to pull you out of your center. That's the victory of this Six of Wands. It's where we can experience the highs, but we recognize there's a low behind it. In this card, there's a victory, let's say, of a battle, but there's a loss in a battle. When you fought, there's always a loss. When you lose something, there's always an open space which is left where something more can grow in the future. And consequently, losses and gains, bad things, good times, bad times, are not exactly what they seem. And the heart is the consciousness inside of us that knows exactly that. I hope that serves you in some way. Spooky Boo 22. Great name. Okay, Spooky Boo will call for a message for you. Okay, very quick. Right, well. The reverse 6, another 6, there's another heart 6, there's another Tiferet 6, which comes reversed in the suit of Pentacles. There's a tendency with this card and with all the pentacles that are around these numbers, there's a tendency to get carried away in the material nature of ourselves and of life. And what I mean by carried away, we're always carried away. We are always fixated on the material world. Our attention is primarily physical and focused on the reality of our existence being a material reality. And consequently, we'll look at the world to be the judge and jury of how good we are in it. And because that external justification, or the manifestation justification of our own sense of self, or is what rules our sense of self. And what I mean by here is if we haven't manifested a great everything in our lives, then we'll judge ourselves as not being good enough. If we judge ourselves as not being good enough, we will consequently not manifest very, very much on a level of abundance in our lives. The sixes are a card of giving and receiving. There's always a nature of receptivity, ability to take, and ability to give. And this reversal speaks about asking yourself the question, hey, how good am I at really receiving? And that question really can only be answered by understanding how worthy do I feel. Because our receptivity depends upon how much we feel and believe we are worthy to receive. And I say worthy to receive as in, do we justify ourselves asking for things? Do we justify ourselves taking something from the world? Do we justify ourselves from being able to receive a simple compliment to be able to receive a sum of money for free, for nothing? Can we receive, like these beggars, a couple of coins because, yeah, that's easy? Or and do we limit the way and the amount on what we think we justify, what our beliefs justify ourselves to receive? And we'll find a lot of the time that we only justify ourselves to receive a limited amount. We have a certain amount that, yeah, that's okay that I receive that, but I can't receive that more. I can't receive more attention. I can't receive more love, and I can't receive more gifts, and I can't receive more opportunities, and I can't receive more work. Because there's a part of me that doesn't feel as if I am important enough to justify receiving more. There's also a nature of giving in this card, and that message would be, if you don't receive abundantly, how can you give abundantly, even though you might think that you are? Okay. Lauren Harris, thanks for joining. Take a few deep breaths with me, Lauren. I ask for guidance for you. The Eight of Swords. Trapped and blindfolded by the swords representing our thoughts. It's a very simple message, this one, Lauren, and it's, while it might seem like a slightly darker card, there's a more revealing and message for you. And this is that when you're feeling trapped, when you're feeling stuck, when you're feeling that the cause of your limited experience of freedom has been outside of you instead of inside of you. And so this card speaks about, close your eyes. The blindfold is not a bad thing. The blindfold is a good thing because it asks you to go in and have a look inside. The restricted movement is not a bad thing. It's something that we all feel in life at different times. Feels like we can't move, that we're a little bit stuck. If we feel stuck, sit in your stuckness for a bit. Sit in that your inability to move, but close your eyes and go within and claim all the power to free yourself by looking at what are those beliefs that you are holding on to, and those beliefs that you are stuck with thinking all the time and believing are real, that are really restricting the real cause to the restrictions of your freedom, or the real inhibitions for you to feel like you can do and be much more than you are experiencing yourself to do and be. And this means it's like a reality check. It's a reality check and an honesty check. They come hand in hand. But it's about claiming those beliefs. It's about claiming and seeing these swords, because they are outside of this figure here and she can't see them, but they're also inside of her. When we look to the outside, we just see ideas and thoughts manifest, and they look like knives. They look like swords, and swords are kind of dangerous and we don't really know, and we can wield them and throw them around a little bit, but that's not what they represent inside of us. And we can get scared of a thought of a sword, just as we are scared of a belief. But when we look at a belief, it becomes, well, we're able to see it as what it is. It's just an idea. And the ideas that we have that make us unable to feel free or unable to express ourselves and share ourselves as we want in life, they're all inside of us. They're not outside of us. And the world will never be the real reason for us not manifesting or experiencing the truth and the freedom that we honestly think is important for us. I hope that's a good message for you. I hope you relate. Next. Lauren Harris. Take a few deep breaths with me, please. Okay, well, that was quick. Okay, the death reversed. It's quick because, well, maybe there's a quick death ahead. And when I say death, I'm not obviously speaking about physical death, but this card doesn't refer to that. It never has. It's got pictures of, maybe bodies strewn across the floor, but these are cards, and the major arcana cards speak about the journey of our consciousness. And the death card is the fact that some aspects of our consciousness at one time or another are going to be asked to be dropped completely. They're going to ask to leave us completely, and we're going to have to die to a previous version of ourselves. And if you look back in your life, Lauren, look back in your life, and you'll see who you were, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe. And you'll see, oh my gosh, there's so many old aspects of me that have actually died and then been recycled into something more beautiful and something more new. And this is something to understand is natural. It's something to embrace as something positive. And when we think about death, the death of other people around us and the death of different things in the world, there's a natural sort of resistance that we have been taught. And I say we've been taught because we have literally been told that death is the end, and we don't really understand what happens after death anyway, and so we kind of believe in it wholeheartedly, that it is an ending that's going to be the ending of us. And isn't that a shame? And isn't that dark? And isn't that bad? And isn't that wrong? It's not. It's so not wrong. And that's so the twisted way of thinking that we have, because death is it's a liberation from this experience in life into a different experience of life. And this conscious incarnation into this body that we experience as the birth of our identity is not the birth of this identity. It's just the birth of an aspect of our identity. It's a birth of a version of ourselves. This is the version of Marcus 2.01, whatever, 0.010. And there were probably 3 or 4 versions that came before, or 200 versions that came before, and there's probably going to be a bunch of versions that come afterwards. And we just get to to drop one and then maybe embody another. So the death itself story needs to be reframed in our mind, especially when this card comes upside down. We need to reframe it so that we can embrace the change properly. This is a card which speaks about real positive transformations that are coming in your life, or that are available for you to experience in this year of 2024, where you can jump into and embrace a new version of yourself. But in order to do that, you've got to start telling yourself that dying to some old stories is not a bad thing, that parts of you that need to be let go of is not a bad thing, that surrender of the ego and surrender of certain aspects of what who you think you are is going to be key to seeing and experiencing a more transformational and beautiful version of yourself this upcoming year. I hope that helps. Okay, Lucy Baker. Let's take a card for Lucy. Take a few deep breaths with me. Right, Lucy, no cards coming up for you in a minute. For a moment, we'll come back to you in a bit. I see that you mentioned Lizzy is here too, so let's do Lizzy instead. Maybe you've come on for her. Okay, straight away. Right. Okay, Lizzy, we have the Page of Cups coming up, which is a beautiful card of youthful imagination and high-level sensitivity and poetic and artistic opportunity. It's a card that speaks about that childlike nature inside of us, or that innocent nature inside of us, which I'm sure you know quite well. And it asks primarily to really embrace and love all of the child that we are still, however old we may feel that we are on the outside. There's a child inside of us. And that child inside of us is not just the result of all of our experiences that took place as a child, but is the more pure version of ourself that is outside of those experiences, and consequently just pure and innocent and beautiful in her essence, Lizzy. So this is a card which speaks about reminding yourself and remembering as often as possible how beautiful that child is, no matter what the product of our childhood looked like, or the experiences in our childhood look like. The child that is there behind those experiences, behind all the conditioning that was piled upon her as a child, behind all of that conditioning, or inside of all of that conditioning, there is this beautiful, open, talented, expressive, sensitive, loving, caring dreamer and artist that that you probably know quite well already, but wants to be present and come out even more this year. How about that? Maybe we'll try one more for you, Lacy. Okay. Two of Pentacles comes up. This is a card of this juggling strange looking guy with the weirdest hat imaginable. And I think it's kind of supposed to be looking a bit like that, with the waves in the background and this lemniscate, which is this infinite symbol coming around and joining at his heart. There's a simple question here, Lucy, of opportunity and choice. And this card, it speaks about this duality that we juggle in the world, and this duality that we have in both hands, that is so tangible in this world, with the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis, with the ideas and the judgments in our head about what is right and wrong, what is good and bad, what we should and we shouldn't do. It seems like this card is speaking about how this year, like every year, will have its ups and downs, will be high sometimes and low at other times. And yet the key to balancing our lives in the simplest of material dualities is by staying continuously connected to what your heart shouts out to you. And I've said this before when we're talking about the sixes as well, that and yet it's the fundamental story that repeats itself, and guidance that comes from the tarot over and over and over again. And it might be just a fraction of some part of this figure that the duality crosses over our heart. Yeah, it's even just the left side of his body. Yes, action, which is sometimes, just called spontaneous intuition or instinct. And it can come as feelings, feelings that might not be logical, but feel right. And you're naturally going to be a feeling person who's going to resonate with feeling into the right choices, especially when you've got different options to make. Make sure that you really check in with your heart, even on the little, especially on the little choices that you have in your life. The little choices are the ones that we might not think are really important, and so I'll skim over it, or I'll just pass it by. I'll make that decision later. No, sit, breathe into your heart, feel the duality of one option and another option, and the heart might tell you a third option. The heart might tell you a third way. It might just highlight one side being more important than the other, but make sure you get into a habit of connecting with your heart, and you'll find that this year could be a really interesting set of decision-making experiences. It sounds kind of funny and normal, but yeah, it might be really important by the end of the year. So who we got next? Bro T. How you doing, bro? So, oh gosh, another quick one. So this is going to be a strong message. So the page has already come out, and now we've got the Knight coming out, the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is coming out for me just recently in my life as well. So let's just call in for a specific message for you, bro T. It might not be the first choice that you have in your life, in as far as sharing with other people, to share on an emotional level, but somehow this is your one of your fortes as well, especially for this time in your life. When I say it might not be your go-to, it might very well be your go-to, but what I mean by sharing on an emotional level, there's different ways to share. There's different ways that we share our feelings. One of them is to just blurt out and emotionally express ourselves without any conscious choice. This is not the sharing that I'm talking about. And this we might be naturally good at. We might be a little bit unfiltered, or we might be quite filtered, but we might find it easy to be emotional as we express ourselves in the world. But this card is speaking about being very conscious about how we share and the emotional expression that we bring to the world. It's about being conscious of the message that we have to bring to this world. And it's about checking in and saying and asking yourself, so, who am I? What am I doing here? What am I doing here in this world? What's my contribution to this funny 3D reality in this bizarre incarnation of this body? What is my real contribution? What is my vibrational constitution? This is one of his questions. And he's saying, well, I've come here to share what? I don't know. What have I come here to share? What emotionally is something that's easy for me to feel, and something that's beautiful and inspiring and uplifting and has a wonderful and enlightening effect on an influence on those around me? Ask yourself these questions, and ask yourself how you can be and hold the vibration and maintain that essence of who you are on an emotional level, and share that with the world. And do it in as many creative ways as possible, because there's not one way. This guy is brilliant at sharing love, and brilliant at sharing the multitude of different languages of love that there are. And that means that his creativity is quite abundant. But the most important thing is to be really clear about what you choose to share, instead of just being on autopilot and sharing from an unconscious level. That's the message there. If anybody's online and wants me to draw a card, then just drop a line. I can't see who you are until you maybe drop a line in the chat, and then I'll draw a card for you. Next, I've skipped a few. How about that? Something, Katherine. Yeah. Oh no, hang on, gosh. Okay, there's more people than I thought online. Okay, Heather. We'll go for Heather. Heather B. How are you, Heather? Good to see you. And let's see. Well, not even see you. Good to feel your presence. Let's breathe in a few moments and ask for some guidance. Okay. Okay, Heather, we're going to wait a little bit. I'll come back to you. DV. How you doing, DV? Let's go. I'm going to slow. Okay. The Hermit comes up, DV. This is a strong masculine message. Okay, so what that means is this is a message of embodying your archetypal guide, because the hermit is a guide, and I say it's an archetypal guide because it's where we really embody our wisdom. And when I say embody our wisdom, there's a certain amount of trials and tests that our life has already given us and has given you. You know what those tests are, you know what those trials are, and you know how they have been difficult for you, and you know the lessons that you have learned. You know that the journey that you've taken, you know the mountains that you've climbed, and the certain amount of conscious success that you've gained in your life up till now. However limited you might think it is, it's still been a success. And there's still been a certain amount of achievements, and there's been a certain amount of what I would say, yeah, wisdom is the best word for it. But this wisdom is an experiential one. So look into your life and really recognize that experiential wisdom that you have gained up till now in your journey. And don't be afraid to light it up. There's a tendency to think that we've got so much further to go in our path, and to underrate the level of consciousness that we have up till now in our lives. We might feel like we compare ourselves to the world around us instead of just appreciating where we are. This is a card of being very conscious about putting boundaries on your self-limiting beliefs and appreciating where you are, and not being scared of sharing your journey and part of your journey to those people around you that might benefit from some of your experience and some of the beautiful parts of your life. And the people in it, for sure. So there is Heather B. We'll try you again, Heather. Okay, yeah. Okay, great. We've got the sun reversed, Heather. So this is a card of this pure, innocent child on the horse with a big red banner and the 19 rays of sun and the sunflowers, etc. It's reversed, and this is a very simple and very deep, and it's a deep, and but yet it's a very simple and quick message for you. You have the ability to shine a lot more than you are allowing yourself to shine. Your biggest obstacle is not your darkness, but the fear of your light. I'm calling it your light, but it's not yours, and you know that. Because the light doesn't really belong to anybody, but it does shine through everybody. And that's the way that we are set up in this world. We are set up as reflectors or refractors or prisms of light that wants to shine through us and through the consciousness of us as human beings. And this is a card which is asking this year for you to really dive a little bit deeper into allowing your light to shine in more bright ways than you have before, and recognizing some of the ways that you might be tempted to hold back on the amount that you might allow yourself to be seen, and you might resist being seen because of certain maybe failures in the past about what being seen actually represents, and do all that you can in your power to change those beliefs about how safe you might feel in the exposed sunlight, and change all those beliefs about how beautiful you might feel you are, or more to the point, not. Have a great year, because that sun wants to be turned around, that's for sure. Okay, who are we going down to? DV. We haven't done DV. Have I done DV? Maybe no. DV, hi, how you doing? Quick card. I don't know, I've lost the names for here. Okay, we've got the Nine of Pentacles reversed, so we're going to throw that one down there. Another quick message. It's very easy to focus on what we're missing in our lives. It's super easy to be focused on all the things that we haven't got, because we are so easily reminded by our own thoughts, our own heads, and by society around us. When we look around and we see, oh my gosh, if only I could have a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. If only I could have this and the other. This is a mentality that will stop you sitting in a certain amount of appreciation for where you actually are. And the real work of this card and the real message is about finding the appreciation for where you are in your life right here, right now, so that you can be vibrating with that specific energy of gratitude, because with that energy of gratitude you can then project out there into the world a different magnetic vibration, which will pull in and attract to you a lot more of what is very much attuned to what you're grateful for. So instead of focusing on what you're lacking, focus on the abundance that you already have, even if it's an abundance of ideas, even if it's an abundance of something. You'll have an abundance of desire, even if it's an abundance of marbles, whatever it is. Focus on that abundance, and you might attract a little bit more of what might be in tune with that. Katherine Ara, thanks for joining us, Katherine. I hope you're still here. If not, you can see the replay. Lots of cards on the floor for you. That's first. Let's try again. Okay. The the sixes are coming up. The Six of Swords today, and the Six of Swords is a very simple card of a journey. Let's call upon what this journey is specifically about for you. So, dare to dream about something new. We often have these dreams about something new that come from a past experience where we have a memory in the background of our mind which says, oh, that's such a good thing, I really enjoyed that, I'd like a little bit more of that in my life. And this card is about being willing to take yourself to journey mentally. It's more of a mental journey than anything else. It's about journeying mentally to a place that you like to be in your own head, and going there and trying to maintain that space as long as possible. It's an interesting practice. It's a really beautiful exercise where you can practice bringing your mind, and the way you do this often is by focusing on a memory, a beautiful memory that you have. And if you focus on that beautiful memory that you have in your mind, with all of the details and all of the emotions that come with it, carry yourself not into the past, but what you're doing is you're drawing in the emotions from the past and the energy and the vibration of the past into the present moment. When you do this exercise for long enough, and when you sit in this exercise of actually punting yourself across the emotional waters and calling upon where it is in your life that you actually want to be vibrationally, you choose a certain creative and attractive force that then draws you naturally towards the choices that you need to make and the shores that you want to actually visit in the world. But this is a very mental practice, and it's a great practice. I don't know if you practice meditation or not, but if you take maybe 5 minutes out of your meditation or 10 minutes at the end of your meditation, just to imagine a mental and emotional space that is really uplifting and inspiring and fantastic for you, some place that you'd like to be in, some way of being that you'd like to be in on a more constant level in your life, or you'd like more of, just call it in mentally, allow your body to feel it emotionally, and then see what opportunities pop into your life alongside of that. It might be an interesting practice for you. Aksa Ahmad, if you're there, great. And afterwards I do you, Elisa. Okay. We have the moon card, and while the moon card's a deep one, take a look if you want more deeper reflections at the videos that I've got online. But let's ask for a very specific message for you. It's interesting. I just spoke about diving into the memories. The moon asks us to look at our past a lot, not to wallow on the past, not to get lost in the past, not to be stuck in the past, but to learn from the past. And this is a card which speaks about how many lessons that are available for us to learn just by a quick regression. And it's a simple regression. There are many different type of regression exercise, and I really recommend you go online and look up regression practices and maybe do a couple of meditation exercises to take you into your own past in order to see some of the lessons that you are maybe capable of learning now that you experienced in the past but didn't quite grasp or didn't quite fully embody or understand, because there's something there that can enlighten your life and can give you a way out of some of the shadow experiences that life might be bringing you in 2024, and bring you into a more deeper level of clarity about where your path is really truly going to be. I hope that helps, Elisa. Okay, we have, okay. The Magician reversed is Elisa. This is a card of beginnings. It's number 1 in the major arcana, and the primary message is here that I believe that there's some new beginnings that you are maybe ready to take, but need a little bit of conviction and need a little bit of will. There's a certain amount of this card represents a certain amount of human will. So this is why he's holding his wand up like this. And there's a willpower in the magician that decides what needs to happen. And I think you've got some really important choices that can start a much more conscious journey in your life. And when I say a more conscious journey, a journey where you become much more self-aware, and there are some choices in your life which will be really beautiful to instigating the beginning of your conscious soul's journey on another level. And it's going to depend upon your choices and your desire to actually walk a walk that is more aligned with your spirit. Well, let's just say that. Have I missed somebody? We've got Lauren. Oh my gosh, there's lots of people. I don't know if I'm going to be get to do everybody. I might have to do some quick one-liners in order to do this, or this is going to go on for way too long. So please excuse me if you've signed in late or if you joined late. But yeah, I'm going to have to run through some quick one-card readings because there's lots of people online. I didn't expect so many people. Okay, have I done you, Lauren? Yes, I have. Okay, Lacy Mask. Let's look for quick message for Lacy. Whoa, that was quick. Oh no, it wasn't. Yes, it was. There we are. Oh, we have the Empress reverse, Lacy. Okay, please check out my video, but I'm going to give you a very personal one-liner message right now. If you have a negative relationship with if you have a negative relationship with some parts of your femininity, then it's a great time for you to take a really good look at the beliefs you have around this abundant feminine that you have, this abundant feminine receptive part of yourself that you that maybe you struggle with sometimes, and maybe you fight against on sometimes. Take a look at the belief systems that are making you the beliefs that you have about yourself that are making you struggle, because I think a lot of them might be wrong, and you can observe them and change them, because they are just ideas that you might have about yourself, that you might have had for a long time, but they're still not your highest truth. And when you encounter them, you can maybe embody your inner abundance and your inner feminine abundance, and learn to find a level of inner love in a more beautiful way. Metaphysical messages. Okay, metaphysical messages. The Queen of Cups is coming in to say, that maybe you're really good at knowing what you want, metaphysical messages. And if you are really good at knowing what is you want, then don't lose sight of the fact that what you want primarily is going to be it's going to include an emotional reality. In other words, what we want in life is not just things, but the way things make us feel. It's not just this out there, but the way this out there allows us to feel. So keep in mind and keep really conscious that what you want is primarily going to be orientated around how you want to feel more than what you might want physically wise. Focus on that, really dive deep into that, and this will be some of the greatest ways that you can draw into your life beautiful things that actually match that emotional vibration. Okay. Cry baby in. Okay, cry baby indigo. Here we go. I'm gonna redo all the previous cards, so there might be some doubles coming up. Okay, here we go. We got the Lovers card. Beautiful. So the Lovers card comes along, and the message for you here is there's a message for you here about trusting an inner guidance. So this archangel is inside of us. These three figures are all inside of us. So this archangelic connection to the light is inside of us, and there's the ego gets in the way quite often with this pure connection between conscious, subconscious, and the higher consciousness inside of us. And the ego will butt in, and the ego comes in the form of a lot of our conditioned ways of thinking, and it stops that pure communication. So remember this love triangle that takes place, and it's this love triangle again about really asking yourself as many honest and simple, beautiful, honest, vulnerable questions as you can, and asking as many as you can, and never having too many of those questions, and asking for the guidance to come through. And when it doesn't come through, ask again. And when it doesn't come through, find a different way of asking, and ask more sincerely, and find that sincerity, and find that in a sort of love triangle that is this lovers dynamic inside of us, where we actually become acquainted with an inner set of guidance inside of us. SVH. Sarah, how are you? Whoa, okay. The reversed Four of Cups. There's going to be more for you here if you look at my video, but there's something very specific, which is okay. Opportunities are not something that so there's a real key switch of the way you might think opportunities actually occur in our lives. And it's really important to get this straight, because we think that, I would do that if only I had this, and if only I wasn't like this, and if only this wasn't going on, and if only I didn't have all of these things, and if only all of these things, then I would be able to have something that I really wanted. I would be able to get this opportunity if it wasn't for all of these other obstacles in my life. This is the logical, material way of looking at this world, but it's not the metaphysical way of looking at this world. It's not the higher way of understanding how energy works, and it's a really restricting way of perceiving your life, and we become very much a victim to the world around us. Because the opportunities that we really need are here now, all the time. It's like this cup in front of our face. The cup is right in front of the guy's face, and he's going, nah, I'm all right. He's not even going, no. He's denying that it's there. And he's closing his heart off because of it. There's only a few cards in the tarot that have the crossed arms over the heart. This is one of them. And the 9 is another one. because there's a real challenge for us as far as emotional challenges are concerned. That, okay, so the real key to this card is there's an opportunity that you want to grab that you don't know you want to grab. There is the real message. You don't know you want to grab it because you told yourself for such a long time that the circumstances are not allowing you or can't allow you to grab it. That's not true. The moment we change our perspective about, or the moment we change the narrative that we're telling ourselves about opportunities as far as love and emotion is concerned, that's the moment we open our eyes and we see that there's an offer right in front of our faces. It doesn't matter what that offer is, there is an offer right there, and it's going to take us to some place. But we might have ignored even the need or the desire to see it or want it. I hope that helps in some way. Sorry, I'm peering like an old man into that CGP. I mean, there's yes, whoever it is, you know who you are, I'm sure. Take a breath with me and we'll find a message for you. There it is. Okay, this is coming up again. I think it was upside down. Was it upside down before? No, it was the right way up. Okay. So again, this eight of swords comes up again for you, CGP. I think it is. Just put my glasses on. Yeah, and thank you for joining us. And this message is going to be slightly different for you. I gave a longer talk about this card a minute ago, but it's slightly different for each person's energy. Here, there's a message of really embracing the stagnation that you might be feeling in your life right now. So when things don't go right, when there's a little bit, when we feel a little bit trapped or a little bit stuck in our lives, one of the reactions that we have is, I don't like this feeling, so I'm going to ignore it. Or I'm going to do something that makes me feel better. I'm going to do something that takes me out of this stagnation, right? Or to get me out of this trapped, ill feeling. I'm going to do something that changes it. And we do something that actively changes it. But we don't sit with it and understand why it's there. We don't sit with the feeling of feeling stuck and blind and trapped, and we just try and do something as quick as possible to get rid of that feeling, because that feeling doesn't feel good. And yet the feeling is telling us about an idea that we're holding on to that isn't great for us. And unless we really sit with that feeling, we won't encounter the belief that's behind it. If we don't encounter the belief that's behind it, it's very difficult to change it. And if it's very difficult to change it, we'll find ourselves stuck again, no matter how good we are at getting rid of that stuck and blocked feeling in our life. And so those blocked feelings in our lives, they're not bad, wrong emotions just because they don't feel comfortable. They're trying to spell out to us that there are certain beliefs that we're holding on to, and these are the swords that are in the ground around us, that may not be to our highest benefit to hold on to. So let's try and let go and be conscious of them. Okay, Massud, we're going to do a couple of one-liners, and then we might have to call it a day. The Queen of Pentacles reversed. So she's there. Oof, Queen of Pentacles. It's really important to care for yourself. It's really important to care for your body. It's really important to look after yourself this year as often as you can, and to really be kind to your body. And being kind to your body means you really need to listen. You really need to listen to what your body is telling you. And that means honesty, because you can't really listen with deaf ears. You have to listen with open ears, and you have to listen to what your body is saying, because every message that your body is saying to you, with every slight discomfort or illness or thing that might be manifesting in your body, is manifesting for a reason, because it's your body communicating to you some type of need that you have. And sometimes that need is a need to let go of something, and sometimes that need is a need to hold on to something better, or to practice new type ways of eating, living, drinking, working, etc. That's the message of this queen. Gerard McHugh. Oh my gosh, we've got to have a lot of names. Okay. Guys, if you want to contact me through my site, I'm going to do 3 more cards, and if you really want a 1 card for this new year, I didn't expect so many people to come on, contact me through my website. You can find it on the there's a link on my page on YouTube, and I'll make I'll send you a 1 card reading, but at another date. I'm going to do 3 more. This is for where were we? This is for you, Gerard McHugh. Or maybe not. Maybe Gerard, we're going to leave it for a minute. We'll see. Yeah. Janine, breathe with me a moment. Janine McDonald. Okay, Janine, so we're going to wait a moment as well. Maybe there's no one there. Scarlet, take a few breaths and we'll see. Okay. Page of Wands reversed. A very simple message of okay. If there's a part of you that's struggling with that passionate part of you, and this can come out in your relationship with your sexuality as well, Scarlet, then just take time to feel what might be I'd like you to look at the video that I've got on this card, Scarlet, the Page of Wands reverse, because there's different recommendations here, but getting in contact with your passion is key. Getting in contact with your excitement for life, and even that fiery motivation that sometimes might be lacking, and that enthusiasm for life that sometimes might be lacking. This is going to be key for you this year, and it's going to depend upon maybe a little bit of inner child work that I would highly recommend you find a way to do some of. Have a great year. We're going to do Dawn Findlay. Did we do Dawn? If you do, you get 2 cards anyway. So this is I'm going to do 1 more card after this. This is the 6 of Cups reversed. there's something about giving and receiving story which is not quite in balance, Dawn, and you can see this. You can see this in certain past relationships that you might have had when you take a look at the past, and you know how that giving receiving thing hasn't been quite balanced. You know exactly, I think, what this card means as far as that's concerned. So where there is an imbalance in this card, this card is asking you to really take a look at seeing what's behind that and what fears you might have about either giving or receiving, because of the connotations of the past and what that giving receiving may well entail, because it's blocking a little bit your experience that's coming up in this year. And this is a good thing for you to jump into being a little bit more conscious of. You may have had a reading. I'm going to do one more. Julie Williamson. Here we go. And if anybody, please contact me through my website, and I'll share a private one-card reading for you in another format. And maybe drop me an email and we'll figure that one out. If not, I wish you all a wonderful, happy new year. And draw your own cards. You don't need me to do it. Draw your own cards and find your own intuitive. Here we go. Okay, so this is for you, Julie. And ending on the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is a very simple message and a beautiful message to celebrate the connection that you have with yourself right now. This may be reflected in your relationships in the world around you, or it may not, but it doesn't need to. The importance is to really respect and celebrate the connection that you've made with yourself and the beauty that you've created in your own inner world. And it might not be there all the time, but you definitely can relate to, hopefully you can definitely relate to that, to what that means to you, and to really not big yourself up, but pat yourself on the back and raise a cup in your own name. And this seems like a selfish thing, but it's not. This is a card of celebration, but it's a card of, hey, you've grounded yourself in a certain amount of of having created it in a beautiful inner relationship with yourself. And so give yourself credit where that is due. Sorry for all those people who joined and weren't able to get a card. I tried to do as many as possible, but got a few too many people jumped online. But please get in contact with me if you're really desperate to have a one card from me. If not, please draw a card today and look it up on look it up on my channel and drop me a comment on the video that you look at, and I can even add on a little bit of a personal message on the comment that you drop, because I look at all the comments. So if you draw a card for yourself, how about this? This is an even better one. Draw a card for yourself right now if you have some cards. Take a look at the video that the card on my channel represents, and drop me a comment and say, hey, this is my card, Marcus, for this year. And if you got any other messages, and I'll throw out any more intuitive messages that come up my way. Much love from my heart to all of you guys, and thanks for joining me. Sorry it took a little bit long to get online, and sorry I didn't get to see everybody, but I send you all my love for 2024. And if you want to join me in any of my courses, I'm going to restructure some of the love courses that are coming out this year so that we can make them more accessible for more people. So look into that. And I send you so much love for this upcoming time. There's going to be some crazy changes going on in the world. There always has been. This is going to be a big year. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be an interesting year. So we've got to keep ourselves as beacons and channels for the light as often, as much, and as continuously, as vibrationally possible. Much love.